Alright, so back on this. So I got those panels made up. I just went to Dutra's. Dom was here over the weekend, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna box this stuff off. He's gonna have a box in here. We're gonna mount that battery box on this side. So I got some panels made up. We're gonna make like a box, a receiver box for that, and just a little top. And then he's gonna put like a blue carpet here and here, like a stock looking thing. So that panel I'm gonna modify. He doesn't care about having that spot in there, so we're gonna make that piece all one piece and just leave a little access there and a little access there. All right, so right now I'm grinding all that in there. Grinding the welds down flat so that all these panels sit nice and flush under here like that there. I got to do that one and this one, and then also I need to trim back. So when you're looking here like this is looking straight down here. This has to be trimmed back so that the panels sit down flush in here. This has to be cut back clean. Same thing with that side. That's going to be cut back clean. That other panel is going to be all the way to the back like this side. So we got to clean up all these welds, grind all this stuff down flush so it sits flush, and then this has to be cut flat here so that that battery box will fit down right down inside there. So that panel is going to come all the way across. All right, that one's welded on. Once I get that panel made, I'm going to weld this side on and then measure it and make it look the same on this side so that they look the same. But I'm going to weld those bottom ones, the bottom box, because we're boxing this in, right? I'm going to weld the bottoms from the inside so that when you look under the car, it's nice and clean. Just a little bit of seam sealer on the edges, and that's it. Okay, so we'll go and do that. Finish grinding what I'm grinding. We're talking about cutting that even with the floor. So those will be cut. Basically, it'll be cut like even with the bottom of the quarter panel, and then a little tiny, like a small quarter moon or whatever you want to call a quarter circle there. Same thing with that. That's going to be cut, you know, like that, just flat across, and then a little corner. And then if we don't like that, then we can make it even higher. All right, so that's the plan for that. Then I got to go pick up more seam sealer. Getting rolling. Parts are just went over to Dutra's to gave him a whole list of all these panels that I need cut, and he's cutting them all up. And then he's gonna call me later. I'll go pick all that stuff and then start fitting the rest of it. So if I get this stuff done in time, then maybe I'll start working on those trim pieces. Alright, so I got all the welds all cleaned up. Everything's all nice and flush, clean, underneath, on top. So I got all that ground up under there, clean. So now we can put the panels in. I'm going to weld these in from the top so you don't even see a seam on the bottom. Alright, so get going with this, and then I got to go pick up these other parts. So that one's in there, nice fit all the way across everything. gonna go in there now and tack that in, tack all that back in, go underneath, tack it all in clean. You can see look how tight that's nice. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna weld that on the inside, tack it all the way around here, and then I'm gonna put the top piece on after I put this piece on, and then the box will be made inside there. All right. Try this one more time. A bit right now. All right, so I got those pieces in there tacked in place. I got this one tacked. I'm gonna put a piece of cardboard against the glass, and then I'll be able to tack the other piece. the actual bottom to the tub. Same thing, just little spot welds all the way around, every like 3 or 4 inches or something, and then put that glue on it and you're done. Okay, so I got all these pieces back, all cut up to make all those boxes. I got them marked which one's going where. I got this piece, I'm gonna redo that top panel on that, and then I'm gonna weld that side on. So I just gotta cut this square out of it, all right? Alright, so we got that piece in there. It needs to get cut back here to fit around that panel. And then that'll slide in, and that'll be a nice fit. Alright, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to mark this spot and grind it down. Alright, so I got that piece cut. I got it coming all the way back to here. That's all good. And then we just move all that to match it, to meet up with it, and tack everything in place. That'll be done. But I'm going to put the bottom piece in first, tack it from the inside, same as the other side, so it looks clean from outside. Alright, so that piece I already had made up. I just had to redo this one piece because we went all the way over. Beanie's not going to do that. Alright, so same thing on this side. I got to clean this spot off. It's all undercoated, so I got to scrape it off first, and then we'll grind it clean with the grinder sander and be able to weld to the inside. Alright, so we got that piece on the bottom, right? Nice fit there. Nice fit. I don't know if you can tell that, but this is gonna right against that. I'm gonna trace this piece out. That'll be cut off, and then that'll stay in there. That'll get welded from up here like this, and it'll look nice and clean like that on the bottom. Alright, oh, same thing here. I just gotta cut the spot out. Alright, let me get that back off. I'll cut that square out of it, and then we're done. Alright, you can see how nice a fit that is. Alright. Alright. Tack that all in place. I'm gonna pull this nice and tight here to meet that. And then I'll just trim the excess off. Be good to go. that, but that's it. Get the grinder. I'm going to cut that lip off. See if you can see that lip right here. I'm going to cut this lip off, and then I'll just finish tacking that in place. Alright, so I got that all cut off. I'm just going to go back and re-tack it all. And then that's it. That's done. I can put the top piece on. Alright? Alright, that's all done. Remember, it's going to get glued from the outside, so that seam sealer stuff is like a bonding agent. So the only thing left to do is I just got to put a little piece in there. I'm going to put it on from the inside, just to fill in that gap right there. It's about 1/4 inch or something, so I'm going to make sure that's filled in. Alright, so that's all done in there. I'm going to blow all that, everything out of there, clean all that up, throw some primer, etch primer on the inside of that like I did on the other side, and then cap that side off. Get some, blow all this stuff out of here. Make sure it's nice and clean. I'll go get some primer, throw some primer on it. So, self-etching primer. Put all that in there. All that, or we're not going to weld. That's it. All right. Probably right across to that. And then we'll end up putting all that done. Let that dry. Come back a little bit and put that top piece on. So that's the top piece that goes in there. So again, prime the bottoms of them. This way you ain't getting back in there when it's done. So that'll all be primed on the back side of everything. And then he could go back in and do whatever he wants with the outside. Okay, got that all done. The only thing left to do now is make the 2 boxes in those pockets and then seam seal everything. Alright, so I had to clean this mess up before we go on to the next step here. So blew the car all out, got it all nice and cleaned off. Everything's all tacked in place. That's how it's staying. It's not getting welded all the way around because then it'll warp the crap out of everything. But that stays like that. So between that and that bonding glue, it ain't going anywhere. Actually, it's solid now. No tinny sound, no nothing. Sounds like a drum. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do before I go on to that, I'm gonna cut those even with the bottom of the quarter panels and then put a little round edge on that because that battery box sits right about the same height as the bottom of the quarter panel. So first I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get that all done and then I'll start making these boxes. Basically it's a box that's gonna sit down inside here. So I got all the pieces all cut out. Dutrick sheared them all for me. And we're gonna make them fit down inside there. They'll get all tacked in place. and then that's it. And then making those 2 trim panels. All right, so I'm gonna set this up down here like this so you can watch. Basically, I'm gonna get a long enough piece of metal that goes across that whole thing, make it nice and straight. That level, I was using that to keep it square this way, front to back, so it wasn't moving, so it's the same all the way across. So if you look at it, let's say you were looking at it from the side like this, it's nice and square. So once I cut that other piece out, we'd be good to go. All right. So let me get something that's long enough to go across that. I'll scribe it and then hit it with the grinder and clean it up. All right, so got that cut, and I'm done right now. So tomorrow, I'll end up taking these clamps off, unclamping all this, get something, and make this round here like that, and that'll be done with that. And then I can start making the boxes up.